Good morning. ESO Vernon here, Club Minister Director for the Nevada-Utah Conference. I'm back here with my non-fireside office here. Would much rather be sitting on a fireside, cooking some hot dogs and answering some questions, but instead, we're doing it this way. This is my second video in our Respect series. The last time we had a good discussion. This one, we're talking about hand salutes and also how they pertain to respect. So, let's start off with the question. The question was from a youth about when and how often should one do a hand salute. He had a few different scenarios, so I'm going to try to cover them all here. And let's jump right into it. So let's first, because a lot of people probably don't know what a hand salute is outside of saluting in drill. So when you are walking along in Class A uniform and you pass an officer, somebody of rank, and that's usually defined as stars. So starting with director, area coordinator, assistant area coordinator, club ministry director, youth director. Some people like to put pastor in there. Pastor is a title, not a rank. Okay. Some people like to put conference president in there because they're youth director, conference president. So you can put conference president in there, but if he's not wearing a uniform, use this just for people in uniform. Okay. If you're out of uniform, it's good morning, sir. Okay, or ma'am. But when you're in uniform, is what we're talking about. Okay, so a lot of times this is a Sabbath morning only kind of thing, or a special situation where we're all in uniform, like a morning where we're doing drill or parade or something where we're all in uniform. So this doesn't actually happen that a lot. Okay. The concept is, let's just have an example here. I'm walking down the sidewalk going one way. Somebody's walking down the sidewalk the other way, right? The person of lower rank or no rank, the pathfinders mainly, as they pass, they should salute and say, in my case, good morning, sir, right? They're passing maybe one of our lady area coordinators, good morning, ma'am, okay? And you can sir a ma'am, and you can sir a sir, but don't ma'am a sir. Okay, if that makes sense. All right. So the question our young sir had is, let's say we're passing on the street and we saluted each other, right? His arm goes up first, my arm goes up, my arm starts going down, his arm immediately starts going down, right? It's supposed to happen pretty quickly. You start saluting about 6 paces out. That was part of the question, is how far away should you be? So about 6 paces is about where you start your salute, and the things should be done by the time you're ready to pass each other, or by the time you are to each other. All right, so you shouldn't be done after you pass. You should start your salute, done. Okay, now we're here, and then we're passed. Okay, that makes sense. So the question was, now, okay, we saluted. We know how far away we saluted. But what if we were walking in a circle? And we came, we saluted, we go around. Do we salute again? Yeah. And because we're now passing each other again. The answer is no. You do not have to salute again. Okay? Here's my rule of thumb. Once you're in the environment, once you've made contact, once you've joined the team, the group, you don't need to salute again until you've left the team for some reason or the environment, and then you've come back to the environment. So maybe an example. Let's say we're at HQ, right? Our conference leadership headquarters. TLT comes in, and maybe we're getting ready to do morning inspections, and they You know, they might salute as they come in the door and good morning, and then we hand salute back. They join the team. But now in the morning team, as we're doing morning inspections, they're going to go in and out of campsites and groups and this and running messages, right? Every time they get back, they're not going to salute again, right? They're not going to come back and say finished inspections, wildfires, sir, saluting, and then getting ready to go off to the next inspection. I mean, they could, but it gets a little start looking like a funny British comedy. I saw a British comedy once where the person left the room, came back in the room, saluted again. Person left the room, came back in the room, saluted again. And their whole entire point was to see how ridiculous they could make it, right? How many times could you salute in a minute? Sometimes there needs to be a little common sense. Okay, so now if you're in the group, you're doing stuff, and you left, and you've gone back to your club, you're doing stuff, and then you've come back, and you're rejoining the group, then you probably should salute again. But and so and so, good morning, so and so, good afternoon, so and so. Especially if you're reporting for duty, you want to throw a reporting in there, like, morning director Joe reporting back for duty, sir. Just let me know, hey, I'm back, right? It's a bit of a, hey, I recognize you're in charge, and I'm back, I'm ready to work. But it's a very formal way of doing it, right? Like I said, this is a Class A uniform thing only. Wait. Or at least in uniform only. There is debate if field uniform counts as uniform. So I know a lot of people insist only Class A. I have heard leaders say field uniform is a uniform, therefore you should still salute. And that's perfectly acceptable. You're in your club polo t-shirt and you're reporting for something, it's acceptable. But normally it's a Class A uniform thing. Field uniform, if you feel, that's uniform, then if you feel that's a uniform, then you should be doing it, right? But main thing about this is it's a respect of the leader that you're coming in contact. You are recognizing him as her as being in charge, and that you respect this. Okay? It's a very nice formal greeting. Now, another part of the original question was, well, what if there is like 20 of us walking down the sidewalk and the director's coming the other direction and we salute? Do we all have to salute or not? And that's an interesting question. Nothing mentioned in Pathfinder literature that I have seen. I haven't read any other conferences that have a policy on it. And so I went looking at tradition and what maybe other groups have done in the past. And I found there's differences. So most of what we do out of Pathfinders is based upon the Army drill manual. And the Army has two different ways of doing it. There's a normal salute, and everybody salutes. So if you walk past a group of 10, there'll be 10 hands and 10 good morning sirs. Another one has trainees not saluting. And so one could argue maybe, Pathfinders aren't, they're trainees, so maybe they don't salute. I could be persuaded of that. Another tradition I found, which I actually liked, was the Navy has a tradition that the officer in charge of the group, or the leader of the group, does the salute and the greetings. So, and then everybody else just has nod their eyes towards the leader. I like that one. That one's pretty good because then you don't have to have everybody do it, which can be, I suppose, cumbersome. So your unit captain, you have 8 kids. Unit captain would, good morning, sir. and salute, and I'd salute back and move on. So, but there's no policy about that. So I think either or is fine if you all want to do it, or just the leader of the group does it. It's more important that they actually do the salute. They actually show respect. And that's why this is part of our respect series. Is we've never really made this a thing in our conference. I've always known about it. I did used to teach it to my kids when I was a director. That they salute when in Class A uniform. But I've never called out kids from other clubs as area coordinator. As conference club ministry director, I have not made it a thing that I really, that I'll drag a kid out for not doing it. And recently I was talking to a leader who's visited our conference a few times from another conference. He's visited, he's seen, he's watched, and he was talking to me, and he's like, he felt that we have a respect problem in our conference. And he came out right up and just told me, you guys have respect issues here. Or he felt that our kids don't respect our directors, they don't respect the area coordinators, they don't respect the conference leadership team. He felt our area coordinators didn't respect the conference. He felt the conference didn't he had a list of respect issues that we were having issues with. And he felt a lot of it, especially with the kids, we don't salute properly. We don't do hand salutes. We don't recognize who's in charge. And when it comes to not respecting people, it's a bit of a slippery slope. Because when you stop respecting people, it bleeds into other parts of your life. So you're in your Class A, you're in a formal situation where yes sirs and no sirs should be required, and you're not giving your no sirs and yes sirs. It affects the mind, how you think about the people you're interacting with. And then the respect goes downhill. Because if that's not required, if that respect isn't, what's the next thing you're not respecting in? And how are you not respecting? And it's something to think about. When we talk respect, in the last video we talked about how when people let titles slide, and how that it's a slippery slope and it just goes downhill. And there's quite a few studies that talk about, when you let respect slide, it just keeps sliding. And so, I've been reading up on the subject. I've been looking at studies, and I'm pretty convinced that we do need to do a better job on teaching how to respect, how to show respect, how to show deference to the people who, even if they haven't earned it, their title, their place warrants it. Okay? And this is important because I know some people, they very much, oh, and that person lost my respect. You hear them in conversation, right? So-and-so did this and they lost my respect. The mayor did this, they lost my respect. So-and-so at church did this, they lost my respect. The guy in the community, that guy 5 houses down, he did such and such, and I lost all my respect for him, right? You can lose you can have a bad opinion of somebody and still respect their office, right? You may not like the mayor anymore, but you're still going to call him Mr. Mayor, not Joe Blow, right? You may not like your area coordinator. Maybe he said something you don't like. But you're still going to salute him because he's the area coordinator. You're going to respect he has 2 stars on his shoulder. The conference has asked him to lead in that position. And we're going to respect it. And we're going to demand, I'm not going to say teach, I'm going to say demand that our kids also respect. Because they're going to follow our example. If we won't respect them, the kids won't respect them. Our kids grow up not respecting, and then we wonder why, as adult leaders, we can't work with these people. And you're like, right? Because every few years we get that one guy, and all the area coordinators, someone starts saying, "I had it," and then everybody's like, "Oh, not him again." We all shake our heads, we all commiserate. Somebody will come into the office, and the HQ amongst the leadership, like, "Oh, I just ran into so and so," and we're all just like, "Oh, we feel sorry for you already." You don't even have to tell us what he did. We all feel sorry for you already because we know they've done something. Because just there's people who will not respect the office. They will not respect your authority. They will not respect anything. And there's not saying that not saluting will solve this. It's a symptom, right? Why are we not teaching our kids to respect the leaders? You should ask yourself that as a director. Why am I not teaching my kids to respect the leaders? Why aren't I asking them to respect me? I'm not me as the coordinator. I'm pretending to be the director. So it would be me as the director, right? So if I'm a director, I'm saying, why am I not asking the kids to respect me? Why am I not asking the kids to respect their area coordinator? Why aren't I asking the kids to respect the conference leadership? Yep. Why doesn't this bother me that they're not doing it? And of course, some of you might not know this is a thing. Of course, then I want to know why you haven't read your manual, because it's in there. Okay, this is a thing, along with the merit system, discipline, points, Pathfinder of the Year, opening ceremonies, closing ceremonies, induction, investiture. They're all part. It's a package deal for Pathfinders, right? When you throw out any part of the package, you undermine the program, right? So take a good look, think about it yourself for a bit, and then I encourage everybody, teach your youth how to do a hand salute as they pass leadership. And when you're at Gillette, you're going to be in uniform for parade, you're going to be in uniform at baptism, you're going to be in uniform for Sabbath. Let's see if you can find some opportunities to help, show the kids. Lead by example. Have the kids try it a few times. Role play it maybe with the kids a few times. Like, hey, you guys are in uniform. Let me teach you this thing I found out about. It's called a hand salute. Maybe while you're waiting for your inspection, you're all in your Class A uniform Sabbath morning, and, the team's taking forever to get to your club, and you just wish they'd hurry up. It'd be a great time to teach them something new. Because anytime we can teach the kids, we make it better. Anytime we can show respect, we're elevating the position, we're elevating the team. And you can elevate the team even if you don't agree with the people occupying the particular positions in the team. All right? Because remember, you can inherit disrespect. I talked about this in the last video a bit. So you might be director today. Tomorrow you might be an area coordinator. Day after you might be club ministry director. And think about how it is if the leaders aren't teaching respect today, and then in a few years you're the leader and you're the one being disrespected because nobody taught them how to respect. Right? Because we do reap what we sow. We sow it, we reap it, and a lot of times we forget maybe who will reap it, right? You plant shade trees not for you. You plant shade trees for the next generation. And good habits, good lifelong skills, they go down years and years and years. So remember, don't be short-sighted. Look at the future. Look at it as a whole. Look at it as maybe something new to work with the kids about, just for the fun of it. But try to stay focused and remember, hand salute when you enter proximity, only when you're in your Class A's. And I forgot. Saluting flags as you pass them. Pathfinders, we've never done that. Military branches do. It doesn't hurt if you want to. Salute a flag as you pass it. Usually only if it's in your vicinity, so you don't want to, you don't walk onto a football field and salute a flag at the other end, right? But if it's a few yards of you, you can salute it if you want. Military tradition, if you see Marines, come out a door and there's a flag outside the door, they'll all salute it as they go past. We're not Marines, we're Pathfinders. So, but if you want to teach the kids how to do that for the fun of it, nothing wrong with it. But it's not required as a Pathfinder. So, from my campfire to yours, we'll keep up some respect for each other, and I have lots of other videos, so feel free to subscribe and watch them, and please post something in the comments. And it's for or against, or your experiences, go right ahead. And send me questions, because this was a good question, and not likely to be answered in a normal environment, so this video was a perfect time to make a video about it and answer it. So, have a good day, everybody.